applies. What Lord Krishna said, that is the bigger application, but this is the application to our medical astrology. Then there is a concept of KalaPurusha. KalaPurusha means the time personified in the human form, and we consider that everything is, the whole time is in the form of a human being, and then this KalaPurusha or the human figure is spread or stretched over the zodiac. So from first house to the 12th house, from first sign to 12th sign, the whole KalaPurusha is spread over the zodiac, and these 12 rashis are equivalent to the 12 body regions of KalaPurusha. And what I mentioned here is likely indicate global trends more than events at individual level, because Rashi, if you say that a certain Rashi is affected, then that body part will be affected adversely or favorably. But the planets stay in Rashis for a very long time. For example, Saturn stays in a sign for 2.5 years. So if Saturn is afflicting a particular sign, so you will expect it to be afflicting it or affecting it for 2.5 years continuously. So that may not apply to the individual. That would probably apply on a global level. For example, when the disposition is adverse, there may be a higher incidence of, say, heart disease cases or something like that. So this we apply on a global level, but provides confirmatory evidence in a native chart. In the native chart, we consider the houses as more important, and this KalaPurusha concept, we use it only as a confirmatory evidence. The 12 houses represent the native more accurately. So 12 houses, the whole body is stretched over the 12 houses, from the head, which is in the first house, to the feet, which is the 12th house. So we have the whole body stretched over the 12 houses of the horoscope. This is how we do that, and you can consider that as first house, second house, third house, fourth house also. These are the 12 rashis or 12 signs, and first is head, next face, third is the shoulders and the upper limbs, Kark is the chest, fifth house is the stomach and the heart, sixth house is the umbilical region, Tula, seventh is the pelvis, Vrishchik is the external genitalia, then thighs, knees, legs and feet as far as the 12 rashis are concerned, and you can almost apply this to the 12 houses of the horoscope also. This is how the 12 rashis are, indicating the 12 body regions. I told you that rashis and houses differ. Rashi is the sign of the zodiac, and first house or lagna is the sign which is rising at the horizon. So that is the first house.
Previous slide, just 1 second. Previous slide.
This one?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, first house, most important. The first house is also called as Tanu Bhav. Tanu means the body. And this is the one important concept which we have picked up for medical astrology. Your first house is your body. So 12 houses are giving you different body parts, but when you consider the whole body, first house is your body. And if something is bad for lagna, bad for the first house, that is bad for your health or bad for your body. So body in general is the first house, and then of course you break into the different parts, and therefore head, brain, complexion, health, etc. from the first house. Second house is the next one, face, mouth, teeth, eyes, speech, that is the second house. Third is your neck, throat, shoulders, upper limbs, and also physical fitness. Fourth house is the thorax. We exclude the heart here, and then lungs and breast. Fifth house, heart. Fifth house is also thinking, mind, and foregut. Those of you who know about foregut, which means the stomach, the liver, the duodenum, the spleen, and so on. That is the foregut. Umbilicus, conception, fifth house for children, so fifth house for conception also. And fifth house is also recovery from illness. So these are things which you take from the fifth house. Sixth house is the house for disease. I told you earlier, 6, 8, and 12 are bad houses for health. And sixth house is the general house for disease. And it also indicates midgut, which means the intestines, the appendix, cecum, and ascending colon, and so on. It also indicates kidneys, and it is injury, accident, operation. That is also the sixth house of the horoscope. Seventh is groin, pelvis, hindgut, which means the colon, rectum, etc. Testes and ovaries, and sexual union is also seventh house, and anything that can result from sexual union, that also is the seventh house. Eighth house is external genitalia also. As I told you, 6, 8, 12 bad. Eighth is probably the worst house of the horoscope, and it can indicate incurable disease. It can indicate removal of a body part, amputation. It is also a house for longevity, and therefore, by implication, death also. And when I say amputation, it also indicates surgical procedures where we remove a body part, for example, a breast for carcinoma breast, or even an appendix for appendicitis. So, any amputation, whether it is traumatic or whether it is therapeutic, that also from the eighth house. Ninth, hip joints, thighs, femoral vessels. 10th house is knee joints, patella, popliteal fossa, which is the hollow behind the knee joint. 11th house is legs and recovery from illness. We have considered 5th as the recovery from illness. 11th also is recovery from illness. 11th house is the house of gains. So gains for the individual. Lagna is the individual. Lagna is your body. 11th house is gains. So gains for the body means that recovery from illness. And 12th house is feet, left eye, hospitalizations, death, hospitalization and death. So confinement to bed. You see, 12th house is for bed pleasures and bed pains also. So hospitalization and being confined to bed, suffering, exit from the world. It is house for moksha, and moksha, physical moksha is death. So 6, 8 and 12, as I told you, they are adverse houses for health. Then different, you see, these 12 houses basically give you an idea of anatomy. So different organs where they are. Then you have to see the grahas, the planets, and they also indicate things like the sun is a significator for heart, stomach, bones, right eye, burns. Moon is a planet which indicates fluids in the body, and also mind, and therefore any psychiatric or emotional problems, they are under the influence of the moon. Breast, menstrual cycle, moon and Mars, they regulate the menstrual cycle of women. So moon is one important factor which is important in the menstrual cycle. In fact, you can predict a normal menstrual cycle if you understand the movements of the moon and the Mars. Mars is an aggressive planet. It indicates head, bone marrow, musculature, endometrium, accidents, burns, injuries, surgical operations, and miscarriages. Mercury is a planet of discrimination, and throat, nose, ears, lungs, speech, also impotence and different problems, bad dreams and things like that. That is Mercury. Jupiter is the best benefic planet, and Jupiter is a karka or indicator for liver, gallbladder, fat in the body, and because fat in the body, therefore diabetes, and Jupiter is a slow moving planet, so therefore also chronic disease. Venus indicates the genitourinary system, venereal disease, eyesight, seminal fluid, sexual perversions, intestines, appendix, hormones, diabetes. Jupiter also indicates diabetes, Venus also indicates diabetes, because Jupiter is the karka for foregut, Venus is the karka for midgut, and pancreas, which secretes insulin, partly falls in the foregut area, partly falls in the midgut area. And Venus, there is a beautiful story about this Venus. Venus had the knowledge of reviving the dead. And what he used to do was that during the wars between the demons and the gods, the demons would die and then Venus would go and revive them. And this was not taken lightly by the gods, and they approached Lord Shiva, who had blessed him with all this knowledge. So Lord Shiva again became angry, so he picked up Venus and swallowed him. And there Venus spent a lot of time there. And then it's a long story, but to cut it short, Venus requested to be released from there, and he was absorbed in his blood and then secreted in the semen, and he came out through his urinary passage. So the midgut, where the absorption takes place, and the genitourinary system, that falls under the control of Venus, and of course also the hormones. Saturn is the slowest planet and the farthest planet. It indicates legs, feet, nerves, lymphatics. So therefore, elephantiasis and things like that. Even lymphatic edema following radiotherapy and things. Paralysis, amputation, chronicity, incurability, exhaustion, and Saturn is also an indicator of longevity. Rahu and Ketu are again malefics. Rahu is poisoning, snake bite, chronic or incurable disease, and phobias. Ketu also phobias, and Ketu is the planet of confusion. So therefore diagnostic confusion also occurs when Ketu is in power. Besides that, helminthiasis, which is the worms in the intestines, viral and infective diseases, epidemics, defective speech, operations, and so on. So these planets, they indicate different things. So I am not going to go into the details of the nakshatras, because they are also important about what areas they cover and what things they indicate, because that will be too much. But just the interaction of the rashis, the houses, and the planets will give you a lot of idea about how things are in the horoscope. Now, first important concept, Lagna or ascending or the rising sign. This is the most important house of the horoscope, also known as Tanum Bhav, therefore indicates it indicates the body. So, Grahas are subservient to Lagna. Grahas are subservient to Lagna because, you see, when a certain sign rises in the ascendant, that is the first house. For example, the second sign rises in the first house. So third sign will be the second house. Fourth sign will be the third house. So similarly, seventh sign will be the sixth house. So sixth house is bad, so the lord of sixth house, it will change according to the Lagna. So even if you have a good planet, you see, benefics are the Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus. They are considered to be good. The natural good planets. And Mars, Sun, Saturn, and Rahu and Ketu, they are the natural malefics. So these natural benefics and natural malefics, they alter their nature when they own different houses of the horoscope. For example, a planet is naturally benefic, but it owns the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, so it gets some maleficence from there. So a natural benefic can become a functional malefic, or a natural malefic may become a functional benefic. So Saturn may also give you good results, Rahu may also give you good results, and Jupiter may not give you good results depending upon the disposition in the horoscope. So you have to decide not only on what are the natural malefics, but also what are the functional malefics. So that distinction you have to make. And as I said, standard astrological principle determine favorable and unfavorable grahas for the Lagna, hence the body. So if something is good for the Lagna, it is good for the body and good for health. So you have to find out the planet which is not good for the Lagna. So if that planet is having its operational period or dasha, then that could be an adverse period for health. Human body is stretched over zodiac of 360 degrees, 12 signs and 27 nakshatras indicate various body parts, that is anatomy. and Rahu are natural malefics, functional malefics, natural benefics are malefics, which acquire maleficence by owning adverse houses. So lordship of the houses makes them good and bad, and that is how these grahas are subservient to the sign that rises in the horoscope, sign which is the first house in the horoscope. How do planets influence each other? Then there are methods of how the planets influence each other, and they may be sitting together in the horoscope, conjunction. There may be a mutual aspect, they must be looking at each other, aspect. They may exchange their houses, Sun in the house of Mars, Mars in the house of Sun. So that is an exchange. And by aspect of the dispositor, which means that a planet is sitting in a particular sign and the lord of that sign is aspecting that house. I've just shown this horoscope here. If you look at this, this is how the horoscope looks. This is the Lagna, which means the first house, and 5 indicates the 5th sign rising at the eastern horizon at the time of birth. So the Rashi is different. Rashi is 5, the house is 1. So this is the first house, then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. And what I am showing here is that the planets influence each other by conjunction. So this is a conjunction. Saturn, Sun and Mercury are sitting together. That is a conjunction. Planets look at each other from a distance. So Jupiter is aspecting the Moon,